In this video, Earth is shattered and Spawn's impossible cleanup mission begins. Alrighty then, this is a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 369, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. So previously in Spawn is forced to deal with the fallout of Hell's attack on Earth. So we begin this issue with Al Simmons' mysterious lair. He's looking intently at the screen because he is up to something, and what is the next mission? But he gets a tap on his shoulder. Someone snuck up on him, which rarely happens. He falls and crashes to the ground in a dramatic fashion, and Spawn is like, boy, that was dramatic. And Al's like, you scared me. And they're having a moment where we don't see Al Simmons like this, where he gets surprised and from behind, and now all of a sudden this all-powerful macho bro Al Simmons is actually asking for help to get up from the floor. I mean, Spawn sarcastically says, you want me to get you a blanket while we're at it? And it's a moment between Al Simmons and Jessica Capri, Spawn, where you don't see it like this, but because of all the missions they went to together and because of what they went through together, and they do have a complex relationship where you know there's something there. So Spawn asks for a pink blanket next to his Winnie the Pooh jammies and a glass of water. And they look at each other like, come on bro, are you serious? But they break out in laughter. And it's just kind of like a levity that, okay, we defeated a really big hell creature in the past 4 issues that Nyx unleashed on Earth because Al Simmons put her there on the throne of hell. So now she has a power trip and she wants to take over the world and start a war with heaven. But now it's like, okay, it's nice to see you finally smile out, because Spawn cannot last remember that she saw a smile on Al Simmons' face. So Al Simmons tells her that he has to thank her for that because of what she said to him in the last issue, which I did cover that. In other words, it's like she opens her heart that we got his back no matter what, but it was done in a way that Al Simmons just received it. And now Jessica Priest is like, well, I'm just glad that you're all better. So, and then they have this moment like, okay, well, before we get all romantic and all that, what are you up to? It's an awkward moment, but Spawn tells Spawn that he's looking at a heat map, giving off approximate wavelengths on any high levels of neural changes and disrupt the fallout. In other words, he's looking for angels and demons, and he's looking for large clusters of them, because once he finds them, he's gonna wipe them off the face of the earth. And that's where we begin the story off right here. And of course, in the past issue or two, we were dealt with, hey, Sin is alive and well now, and he wants to bring Malboja back. So halfway around the world, Sin is sitting down with Malboja's second in command and tells him, eat up, we have spared nothing for your accommodations. And the guy's like, why are you doing this? And Sin's like, I don't understand. We don't need to eat, either of us, not while on Earth. You know that, so what's all this about? And Sin tells him, it's getting you ready for what I need you to do. And part of the preparation is honing our abilities to act like humans. And acting like humans means eating. Though we won't need those skills until after we set those balance of power. I'm tired of heaven cutting us at our knees. And now we got the wrong person at the throne of hell. He's talking about Nyx. He'll die before pledging his loyalty to her. So now that he wants to resurrect Malboja, and he tells this guy, we can do that, you and I. We can resurrect him and give some order to the madness and the balance. But first, we weed out the traitors, those that strove to control the symbiote for themselves. He's talking about the Violator. Violator was, I did not know this about Violator until reading the Violator miniseries, but he created the symbiote way back when. But anyways, back to this. Violator is the worst offender, and he betrayed Malboja. No, he didn't. It was actually Cagliostro before he became Sin, which was covered in way earlier Spawn issues like 316, 320 or something like that. I could put the text up here. But Cagliostro is like, we were given orders to create the symbiote from Malboja's use, but Violator's jealousy and hatred consumed him. And there hasn't been a day he hasn't tried stealing that for himself. And that symbiote was supposed to be Hell's greatest creation. So now, says Sin, he and that whore Nyx, who sits on the throne, must be first to fall. And the guy's like, that's impossible. And Sin gets pissed, like, I will not be talked down to. So a gesture from Sin causes the air around his guest to evaporate, choking him, which in turn forces this man to reveal his true form, a being who was once second in power only to Malboja. But Sin's not going to allow him to flex like that, so Sin aims to assert his power first, tears off his arm, and Sin tells him, I'll tear another arm if you need me to. You see, James, we're gonna put Malboja back together one way or another, and I've recruited plenty of help to achieve that goal. So, can I count on you as well, James? I'm still not quite clear why Sin wants Malboja back on the throne to eliminate Nyx and Violator. Maybe he's to take out Nyx, to take out Violator, and take out Malboja. That way he's the one true authority on that throne. That's the only thing I could think of, but you guys watching this video, if you have a different theory, or because I'm sure there's people out there with a lot more knowledge of Spawn than I do, let me know. But meanwhile, at NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium, everyone's having a meeting and debriefing as to what happened in Spawn issue 364 and 368, where the entire world witnessed a hell creature trying to take over, and all the hell Spawn, She-Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, and all the other metahumans, all the other super beings that actually exist. So they're deciding, are they a threat? Should we decide and vet them out, who are threats and who are not? And the ones that are not threats, will they be able to help us out with our rule? And they're debating on that, and they're like, yes, we understand we should vet carefully, but could they help us? In defense, with all due respect, they feel they should put together a band and gather intel on them, because they're going to treat them as threats until further notice, because they don't have time, and time is not a luxury to them, because they know deep down they can't match up with them if they all go against them. But Spawn, Al Simmons at the park, is waiting for this guy in the trench coat, and he asked him, did anyone follow you? And this guy tells him, because obviously he's part of the committee, some were surprised how quickly you were willing to make contact with us. Okay, Spawn made the first move, and Al Simmons tells him, figured you'd be in the mood concerning what just happened out in Oregon, so what's your administration thinking about all this, given that they don't like illegal visitors very much? And the guy tells him that his administration has set up a task force gathering intel, any super beings that are seen in public. You can imagine they're paranoid, and they have a really big file. Actually, the biggest file they have is on you, Al Simmons. Figured. So Al tells him, this is how it's going to work with your team. Your team either works with us, and I dictate who the us will be, and you fund any actions we deem necessary. Or, says the guy, Al Simmons tells him, or we could be adversaries. Ones you'll never beat, then your public will vote your asses out of office looking for those who will protect them. And I know your president doesn't like to be pushed around, but I assume he likes to be alive. So my enemies will destroy everyone if they have to. We can prevent that, but we need favors too. The guy walks away, tells Al Simmons, I'll be in touch, and Al Simmons hears another person approaching from behind, which is a reporter that he talked to over the phone. But we end that panel right there. But in the wilderness of Canada, a mix of demons, angels, and humans lend their skills, hoping of discovering how the recent return of every modified being's powers has affected the vampire sector. Each of these doctors have essentially been bought, trading their loyalty for positions and money. And if it means inflicting cruelty on others to benefit themselves, in the case of the war of heaven and hell, they're no different. Because in the end, there is one deadly sin: greed. And eventually it comes for every soul. So it's a very nasty panel right there. But they're removing lungs, experimenting on them. And the thing is, vampires can't die, but they can still feel pain. Though there is actually a slow way to kill them. Suddenly, their experiments are interrupted with all this pain and experimentation going on. And it's Spawn flickering in. And they know that if there were guards protecting the outside and Spawn's in here, Spawn already dealt with him. And he tells him, y'all know who I am, right? What I'm capable of, so put down your damn tools. And this demon, looking like the miniature Violator Walmart version, was like, okay, we're only following orders. And Spawn's like, I don't give a damn. All I know is when Blood finds out someone decided to dissect a couple of his soldiers, he'll blot out the sky with the army so big, there'll be nothing left of any of you. And the funny part is, you're all gonna help me deliver that message. And they're like, how is that gonna happen? By operating on me, says Al Simmons, as he points to a set of wings over there. Give me those wings, says Spawn. They're like, no, that's not possible. Then make it possible, says Spawn. Just remember two things. I'll be awake during the operation, and none of you are trained to fight. So they operate on him, they do. 72 minutes later, they give Spawn the room because, yes, he gives wide birth to this hellish monstrosity, forged from a recipe of symbiote, hellspawn, and the eternity of a vampire. A lethal combination that will soon be known as the Wings of Damnation. So now Spawn is a vampire hellspawn, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more symbolism than that, probably has something to do with the Spawn Armageddon storyline or whatnot. I don't know. I'm just kind of stretching over here. But Spawn taking on those wings, I think it's a symbolism of something huge, and it's some kind of evolution with this character. But what you guys think of this comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or any of our other limited print Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. With all that being said, thank you again for watching. Till the next upload.